Anyway, so tell us what we're talking about today. Anybody? Robbie, you did so well in that little intro on the video. How about you?
Yes.
How about you tell us? Yeah, on the ball today. So go ahead, Robbie Grasshopper. What are we talking about today?
So our fans might have seen that we had a poll up, and we're going to be discussing the results of that poll. And the question posed was, can someone that's not in recovery help someone who's active in their alcoholism or addiction?
Love that question. Can someone not in recovery help you with your active addiction to drugs or alcohol?
For some reason, I don't know why, but I've been able to kind of skirt it a little bit. But I've spoken to other people who are in the same field, but like myself aren't in recovery. And it seems like there's this weird kind of bias in the rooms and in treatment, essentially, against, as we would call the normies, I guess.
So first of all, just to be clear, you are not in recovery, because some people do believe that you are. So
I am not in recovery.
No, you're still in active use, correct?
Well, no, actually. Yeah, right. I've heard the dialogue and the conversations, and there's this very weird mentality of like, if you're not in recovery, you can't help me. If you're not in recovery, you can't. It's impossible for you to understand what I'm going through unless you're going through the exact same thing yourself.
Right.
And so because of that, you can't help me, and I want nothing to do with you.
I was thinking about like, where did we get this idea from? And I think a lot of it comes from like the idea that's in AA that says one alcoholic has to be an alcoholic to help another alcoholic.
Right. Because if you just grow with just a sponsor. Now let's look at that for a quick second. Imagine this, and there are people like that, and God bless you, however you wish to do yours. However, I didn't get clean and sober, so I don't only have one person in my life that I ask every question to, and don't make decisions that aren't passed through that individual. That's not why I did this, right? And the programs were not developed for it to be the Pope, or to be your God, or to be your leader, or to be your boss, or to be anything like that. It's called sponsorship. Yep. And I'll let the 12-step programs define what that means. However, I'm going to give you a quick short, at least just not to offend. It's just there's no opinions on outside issues.
Yeah.
And you go there for a specific purpose. And you're not going there for financial advice, and you're not going there for marital advice. You're going in there to go through a step process, and that individual takes you through that step process.
Where do you think the weak link would be in the helping process? Is it because, like myself as a non-addict, won't be able to truly empathize or truly kind of facilitate growth there, or because I'm not in there, the addict won't look at me and take anything I say seriously?
Is that there's a difference between empathy and sympathy. And so when you're feeling so crappy about yourself and your self-esteem is so destroyed, and you yourself have thought you had this and had a grip on it and had a handle on it, but only through the experiencing of it for so long, you finally realize, I really don't know what I'm talking about. I really don't even understand this. It's hard for us to even imagine anyone else could understand this without experiencing all that crap we just went through. It starts making so much sense, and you're like, oh my God, you get me. You get me. You actually understand this. Because I remember sitting in meetings, and I've been asked a lot of times, why did you keep going when you didn't like them? Because I didn't like them for 4 years. It took me 4 years. I hated every single one. But I kept coming back. And I said, well, number one, I was a great student of the street, right? Where I knew that I learned the illegal business and how to do what I was doing from people in the illegal business. So I figured, I really don't know this that well, but they kept saying two things. Keep coming back. It works if you work it, right? So those two real corny things that they kept saying, I just, all right, we'll see, right? But what I did notice is that when they would talk, the reason I would get in fights at meetings and the reason I would get in arguments at people in meetings thinking they're talking about me is because when they were describing themselves, I could have sworn, and Robbie, can you relate to this?
Oh, yeah.
I could have sworn they were talking to me.
100%.
I could have sworn they were talking about me. I could have sworn it's like they knew something about me, and it was like, how the hell did you know that? And so those were the first people that seemed to say things that I thought you had to live this to know this. You did not learn that from a book. And so there's this divide. This is not something you can learn from a book. This is something you absolutely have to experience. So I used to believe that. Here's what I worry about. You know, it's like saying, you know, if you've never been sexually abused, you can't help me with my sexual abuse. If you've never been divorced, you can't help me with my divorce. If you've never had children, you can't help me counsel or help me with my children. And you hear people say that all the time. People throw that out all the time. And let me tell you something. That is a very offensive term to say to somebody without children. But what's equally offensive is somebody with dogs or something like that saying, well, I have dogs and they're like my children. And you really want to piss off somebody with children?
Yeah.
You compare your having a dog to their having a baby.
Yeah.
If you've ever been in a serious whether it be a disease state or painful state or some sort of depression or something, heavy anxiety or whatever, you have an extra tool in your toolbox is what it is. You have an extra ability to help somebody, or at least a quicker building of rapport. You're able to build rapport faster. So I think you have an in to build a relationship with this person and hopefully get them to start thinking healthy, right?
Sure.
But here's the other negative. There's a negative.
Okay.
The negative is there's a lot of people that just take that tool and then do not expand their toolbox.
Okay.
That I can help you because I am one, or I've been one. But they don't learn anything else. In other words, the people that says, oh, you learn that from a book. Well, the books have a lot of research and studies that you might find very interesting because you're basing all of your help on anecdotal information, your personal story or those around you, but that's it, your circle of influence. True recovery involves a lot of aspects of your life, including the way you handle your finances, including the way you handle yourself in your interpersonal relationships and your relationships and your relationship with your children, your marriages, whatever. Marriages, plural. There are listeners in your life, people that are just good at listening. They have nothing to offer as far as advice, nor do they want to, but they're great listeners.
Yep.
And then there's people that are just, you call them when there's a flood. Just like, look, don't call me when there's a flood in your house. I don't even know how to turn off the water in your house. I swear.
Yeah.
If your house is flooding, I'm sure in your head you're not thinking, I got to call Louis Delgado.
I got to call my sponsor.
Yeah, I got to call my sponsor. Don't call me. I don't know how to, you know what I mean? Yeah. There are plumbers. And I'm that fixer for this. Like, if you want help to find the right treatment center or to get started on this road to recovery, this is our job. This is our role. Call me. But I don't have to be in recovery to do what I do. I get my passion from that, but I don't have to be in recovery to do what I do. We have a team of Now Matters More Foundation board members and people within the advisory council that aren't in recovery. All right, everybody. So from all of us here, adios, amigos. It's time for a taco. Goodbye.
And that was without even a single drop of rum.
Thank you. I'll be here all week.
He really grows on you, doesn't he?